Hello, this is Tropical Update number 3 for Tropical Storm Barry, which is now visibly becoming more organized in the Gulf of Mexico. We can see that there is a stronger core developing. This storm is moving very slowly west now at 3 miles per hour, which is extremely slow. That is where I am, where you see the yellow highlighted coastline. I circled it here for you as well. The rain bands extend far out to the east. So as you can see in this graphic, if this storm were to curve towards the north, that's where I would reside on the eastern side. So the intensity doesn't look terrible, but it's moving slowly. So the problem with these slow-moving storms is that when these storms sit in the Gulf of Mexico in the shallow water, the water temperature here is roughly around 85 to 86 degrees. So the storm now is moving west at 3 miles per hour, and the center of circulation would be now just off to my west. And it's not moving very quickly at all. The last map that I looked at, it doesn't look like the storm has moved very much at all. And it looks like now we are starting to have a complete storm and not just part of a storm. This afternoon around lunchtime, there was really not much of a storm to look at. It's a nice moon, by the way, before the clouds take it over. But now, and look at the graphics. I'll put them up again at the end. But now we're starting to see the really dark colors in the Doppler. The winds pick up. They just lowered the pressure of this storm to 1,001 millibars. Earlier this morning it was 1,009. This afternoon it was 1,005. And now it's 1,001. So the storm is becoming more organized. So anyone here on the Alabama Gulf Coast cannot, and I repeat, cannot afford to not watch this storm. Anyone on the Mississippi, in the Mississippi area, Mike Etter, my fellow weather forecaster, who's been keeping me up to date with barometric pressures, reading wind speeds, current track, etc., and who also pointed out that this storm hasn't moved very much. He's in the Mississippi area, and I know that he's going to be getting weather on Saturday. I would be shocked if he didn't have a rough go of it. Those people in New Orleans, again, they can't afford to have this rain. They can't afford to have any more storm surge, and it looks like they're looking at 2 to 4 feet. So I'm going to leave it at that for now. Again, this is the intermediate update for 6. I'll try to come back at around 8, or I think it's 10 p.m. Central when they do the next update. So at around maybe 10 Central, if I'm still up and going. I know that tomorrow's going to be a long day, probably into Saturday, if the weather starts to turn downhill. So we'll see what happens with this storm overnight, but I anticipate waking up and this storm being a much bigger animal to deal with. So stay tuned. Right now the storm's moving west at 3 miles per hour, and the temperature, or the barometric pressure, started today at 1,009 millibars, dropped to 1,005, and now is at 1,001. It is hardly moving, but they're designating a long-term movement at west at 3. But I have followed this storm all day with pinpoint precision on various different platforms, and I haven't seen it move at all. So anyone just below the center of circulation and off to its east at this point, keep your eyes peeled. So we'll talk to you a little bit later. Keep your eyes on this storm. Again, tropical update number 3. For a tropical storm Barry. All right, see you later from Dauphin Island, Alabama. Take care. The moon just left me. So these are just the beginnings of small feeder bands, and if it passes me to the west completely, then this may be all that we see for the most of the rest of the evening, probably halfway through the day tomorrow. But at some point, the weather should definitely go downhill. So once again, you can see the really dark reds. That means this storm is gaining momentum. The yellow arrow points to me, again, the eastern side, or the right side of the storm, where the yellow is highlighted, tends to be the most aggressive part of these storms. So stay tuned to this one. If I'm not back on tonight with an update, hey, that's just me prepping for a really long couple of days of weather updates or tropical storm updates. Here's the intensity models coming up. It looks like it keeps it predicted around a category 1, but if it sits over water too long, this could get stronger. Stay tuned. Thanks everybody for watching. Stay safe, and I'll be back tonight or no later than tomorrow. Take care.